Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is the weekend reading for Saturday the 31st of October and Sunday the 1st of November. Bit of a crunch weekend on the astrology this. Everything just seems like crunch at the moment. There's been so many points, certainly in the UK, definitely on the political front over the last, 18 months. Where it's like, oh my God, right, this is it. And then it's kind of not. And then like a few weeks later, oh right, so and so's making an announcement, so and so's addressing the country, and this is it. No, it's not. It's been like that over and over again. So we'll see for this weekend, but certainly astrologically, from this weekend for the next couple of weeks, going to be a bit bonkers, I think. So Godspeed and good luck to us all. So let's see what we get. Major Arcana reading for Saturday 31st October, Sunday 1st November 2020. I don't believe it. It's okay. Right. 3 of the 5 cards that I've just pulled are the same as yesterday's reading, and I have shuffled. We have the Empress in the reverse. Here she is. Something's not growing, something's not birthing yet. But I think from this reading, when it does, it's not going to be clear anyway. We have the Moon in the upright. Fancy that for this blue moon weekend. Full moon in the UK. Well, we'll all be out the other side of it 24 hours from now, out of the other side of that particular full moon, and this kind of like the levee will have bust. You know, the fingers pulled out the dike. What's going through it? The wave is breaking. The exhalation begins. Right, we also have the High Priest, the Hierophant, in the reverse. So there's a difficulty knowing what to believe, knowing what, certainly in conjunction with this Moon card. And there's a sense, perhaps, that nothing new is coming with this Empress in the reverse. And perhaps I'm getting a really strong feeling of cynicism, weariness, and just kind of exhaustion. And this thing about not knowing what to believe with the Hierophant in the reverse here, because we've got the Moon, we've got reflected light, not direct, reflected, and it's all a bit weird and obscure. But I think it's even beyond not knowing what to believe. It's not knowing even whether to. Is it worth it? Is it actually worth believing anything or believing in anything? That's what I'm getting from the combination of those 3 cards: Empress in the reverse, Hierophant in the reverse, and the Moon. However, we also have Death in the upright again, but I'm very welcome on the table today, the Fool in the upright. Now, I read something really interesting. I was reading a book, I am reading a book by a man called Bruce Chatwin, a book called The Songlines. It's quite a classic. And he was writing in there about back in medieval times in Europe, there was a certain class of punishment for criminal activity where people would be sent out, banished from the settlement, from the village, from the town, whatever, and sent on a pilgrimage somewhere. And all they were allowed to take was a stick and some provisions, and they were made to wear a particular badge. And I thought, like sewn to their clothes. I thought, God, that's familiar. And look at that. There he is. He's got his badge and his stick and his provisions. That's all he's got. And that's all they were allowed to take. And they had to take this kind of, in a sense, this sort of walk of shame um, for whatever it was they'd done. Now, I'm just saying, it just struck me as familiar. So anyway, from all this cynicism and weariness, and it's not even nasty cynicism, it's just sheer exhaustion that I'm getting from the Empress in the reverse, Hierophant in the reverse. Just like, oh God, and then this comes on the telly and you're like, what? And then that, you're like, what? And then you look at this like channel and that channel and this site and that, it's like, oh, it's just like, oh, I just want to go to bed. Just want to go to bed for the rest of the winter. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. Is it worth believing anything? Is it worth investing our credulity and our faith in anything? These two cards would tell me that it is, but we don't know what yet. We don't know what. It's wonderful to get these two. Now, the way this is looking on the table is that death is looking at these exhausted characters of the Empress and the Hierophant in reverse, sweeping away all the trappings of power. Can you see there? We've got knowledge, supposed knowledge in the book. We've got weapons, we've got jewels, we've got tools, we've got a bishop's hat there, a helmet, we've got the jewels of state. All of that power, all of those trappings of power. Only creativity, represented by the artist's palette, is left. And from that sweeping away comes a brand new start, And I mean, people talk about starting over, especially as we get a bit older and we make some mistakes and life gets sticky and all that, and you think, oh, I just want to start over. Of course we can't. We can only just keep going. Just keep going. But there are sometimes we can always do new things, but what we can never do is just start over. And I'm getting that from the Fool. Walking into the new is not the same as wiping away the old. Hopefully, we walk into new territory with wisdom and experience in that knapsack, because we can't just wipe it out. We can't. I know there are even ways that people can sort of change their identity and move to a whole new part of the world, but you can't run away from yourself. You can't. And so there's this kind of mix here of a new start, represented by the Fool, but bringing some aspects of the past with us. And the dog, the little yappy dog, represents that as well, because that's connection. That's connection and responsibility. Because if that fool is a decent person, he's going to make sure that dog is fed, and that means he has to stay kind of connected with the world. It's not the hermit, all right? I doubt the hermit's got any pets. Probably feeds some birds and animals that come around the cave, but no responsibilities. There is still a little connection, little tug of responsibility in the fool. But it is a new start. It's a new start. It's not starting over, because as I say, we can't. But we've got death sweeping away this exhaustion with this full moon. As this full moon comes and goes, snicker snack with that scythe, leading to a new start, a new phase, which is wonderful. Right, let's get a little bit more. I want to get a little bit more on both death and the fool here. Right, okay. Both of these. Okay, we have the Tower and the Lovers. So there is both in the upright. Okay, right. So the Tower clarifying death here. So again, we had this combination in a very, very recent reading, and we had the fact that death is a kind of natural thing, natural end that comes to everybody, the great leveler. And it doesn't matter whether you're a humble person or a proud person or a this person or a that person. We're all going to meet this at some point. And being real with ourselves about that is a step of profound liberation. This, however, this is an unequivocally destructive event, clearly, but it's different in nature. It's different in nature. This is the forces of karma that we cannot govern and really understand. People say they understand karma, and it's like, oh, that's bad karma, that's good karma. Oh, he'll get his karma, la ha 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 ha, karma. We don't really understand it. It's profoundly mysterious. Things can take a long time to work themselves through, or things can work themselves through like that. It's utterly mysterious, and I defy anyone but perhaps the super enlightened Tibetan Buddhist lamas to really, really be able to delve the spiritual physics of karma. But what we have here is this mysterious force in the lightning that can come at any time. It does. and depending on in this depiction here, depending on, or in this kind of unit of change embodied in the Tower card, depending on how proud, how pompous, how absolutely sure of your position you are, when that force strikes, it's either going to be not quite so bad for you, or it's going to be an utter freaking disaster. And I mean, if the lightning strikes a little stone hut, probably not going to do, it's not going to do the same kind of damage as if it strikes this pompous tower, the builder of which is utterly sure of their security, their position, and feels it right and proper that they heap up all their wealth. Oh, bloody hell. Bloody. What is this? Excuse me. Now, I don't know what's happened there. I think my whole system froze, so let's keep going. All the wealth that is swept away in this death card has been heaped up by the pompous builder of this tower. And there's a presumption in this tower on the part of the owner and the builder of this that it will last forever and that it's safe and unassailable. It's not. Duh. Of course it's not. Okay, with the Fool, we have the Lovers here. So there's a paradigm shift, and we might think that paradigm shift is ours to shift into or not as we choose. But really, basically, there's only one way forward, and it is to take the choice on offer and go up a gear. Because you see, the thing here is if we don't take that choice to move forward into this new adventure, this new phase here, if we don't acknowledge the flow of it, the power of it, we're going to be fighting it, and we're going to lose, and our life will be as stupid and sort of ridiculous and what's the word? Kind of humiliating as would be the life of this young man if he chooses to stay his mother's son. You know, a son husband? No, thank you. So, big change. We got this exhausted energy here. We've got the moon for the moon. So it's this reflected, murky, borrowed light. And it's like, oh, God, we're so exhausted, so exhausted. But then, kajum, big change. And a new phase that if we don't move into it gracefully and wisely, we will kind of end up stunted. That's the word. That's the word. Stunted. I'm just going to get one more. I want an overall. Okay. I don't even know what that is. Okay. It's in the reverse. Hanged Man in the reverse. Back in the flow. Back into the flow. And we never step in the same river twice. It's not only the water that is constantly changing, but the bed of the river is constantly changing. The banks of the river are constantly changing. And it's time to come down out of that tree, stop considering, wondering what does it look like from this angle, what does it look like from is it this, is it that? It's over. The rope has frayed and we're back in the flow. Freaking good thing. Right, thank you for watching. I'm going to look at this now and see what happened with that freezing. You might have caught some choice English cursing. Okay, have a lovely weekend. See you again soon. Namaste.